Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Welkom. Dit is mijn home and I want to achieve success. Okay?
And we got to look at the summer transfer targets. So let's do this. Let's look at the striker position. This is something, a very hot topic, what we really, really need, because we've been debating, is Weghorst good enough? Is Elneny? But who is Erik Ten Hag going for in the summer? Let's unpack this. Victor Osimhen. Price tag evaluation set according to the latest Transfermarkt website, 100 million euros, right? He's right-footed, age 24, fits the mold. He's still young. His contract expiring in June 2025, right?
Yeah, that's right.
If you've seen the goals tally, that he's quite consistent in his goal scoring.
Yeah.
He scored 29 goals in all competition, 22-23 this season alone. And that is, for me, what I've seen about Victor Osimhen is he is a very strong striker. The way he drives with the ball, the way he heads the ball. I mean, he's just a fox in a box. He's a one perfect striker, like, a perfect number 9, versatile, just not a fox in a box, right? So, but it is kind of the price tag that comes with it. But in terms of longevity, what we're looking at is, are we investing for the future? Are we investing just for the short-term gains to win something? Or are we looking at somebody that can grow in for the next 4 or 5 years if you give him a 4 or 5 years contract, guys? Who wants to go? Where did Anil
I'll go first
into
on Victor, if you don't mind.
Yep.
He reminds me of a young Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He's very good. Taking the ball with his back to goal, holding off 2 defenders, bringing our players into the game. He's excellent in the air. He's the last player that a centre back would want jumping with him for a ball, because he's so physical. At 24 years of age, his potential, I think, is astonishing. If we were to buy just one striker this season and not buy a backup, for me, it's him. I would go all in on Victor Osimhen personally.
Yeah. Phil?
I completely agree with Jay, 100%. He is my preferred choice out of all the strikers out there. And I'm not saying he's even available, because, as you say, he's got 2 years left on his contract at the moment, which makes it a harder bargain, and especially when other people, other teams will certainly be after him. It's obviously known that we lack a striker seriously since letting Ronaldo go, and with the injury record to Martial, I just think he would be the perfect striker for us. I think you think of the chances we've missed this season. I think he'd have put many of those away, and I think we would certainly be fighting for the league right now. Obviously, with that's taking into account the fact that we've made changes, we've made purchases, and certainly going into next season, I think we'd have a great chance. I just think he's, as Jay's already said, alluded to, his height, the way he takes the ball, his finishing, his different style of finishing. He's got 29 goals this season, 25 goals, 5 assists. And he's just, and that's starting to increase. He's started to be recognised. He's doing absolutely fantastic at the moment. Obviously, for Napoli, they're actually being reported as one of the favourites for the Champions League, partly because of his form and what he brings to the game, and the fact that he can do it in at any moment. He can just turn it on. He doesn't give in. I've not seen him. I've not watched every single game of this season, don't get me wrong, but I've not seen him kind of slacking off. When I have seen him, he's giving his all running, and when he is running, he's making good runs, and he's doing good things with it. He's not just kind of running about aimlessly as some other players perhaps have maybe been doing a little bit more of. So yeah, for him, he is my preferred choice at the age of 24. Even though he's got a high price tag, it is for the future. We're not just investing 100 million in someone who's going to get us goals for a year. It's got to be someone who we're investing for the future, because we're rebuilding this squad, rebuilding Man United, and to me, he's the perfect signing at the perfect time.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Anil, I see you've been scribbling some notes.
Yeah. So, I am guilty. I mean, it's always a little bit disappointing when the whole panel agree with each other, because we want to argue, we want to disagree and tell each other's wrong, and my decision's better than yours. But unfortunately, this time round, it's a clean sweep. I think Victor Osimhen is the standout candidate, and I think, look, at the end of the day, all of them are brilliant players. The ones in discussion at the moment, and for all of us anyway, Osimhen's at the top of that list, especially with given his age and the potential and already the ability that he's showing. And let's be realistic, a striker on average, really, I know it's a bit of a stereotype, but around 27, 28 is where they really hit the pomp of their career, which is quite frightening to think that Osimhen's 3-4 years off that, which is absolutely brilliant. And I think the thing, one of the many things anyway, that really separates Osimhen to all the other potential targets for a striker for Manchester United is there's this, I think Phil was alluding to it a little bit then, there's almost like this never say die attitude, this dog in him, as many youngsters say these days, this grit and determination really that he has in his game, which I think if we look at Man United now, we've got the likes of Casemiro in midfield, behind him Martinez and Varane, and then if you have a striker like Osimhen who's bringing that never say die attitude, will just never know when they're beaten and just constantly go for it. You can almost tell every time they step onto a pitch, it's more than just a game of football, it's more than just a job, this is their dream and they're living it out every day. So I think this is certainly a situation. And look, as someone who is a massive advocate for Osimhen, I've been trying to do as much research as I can and speak to the contacts that I do have in the industry in terms of where we're at with Osimhen. And from what I've been told, realistically, the two standout candidates at this moment in time for Osimhen's signature are PSG and Manchester United, and both teams are willing to put down big price tags, and they both see him as a star and right up there with the top strikers in world football. So I do think this will ultimately come down to realistically what Osimhen wants in terms of a project. And I think if Man United can get into the Champions League, can show already in Erik Ten Hag's season they can secure trophies and really fight on all fronts, how attractive is that for an up-and-coming striker in Europe? And let's not forget that. I mean, Osimhen's a brilliant player, but he is nowhere near the potential that he could potentially get to. And that is the scariest thing of all. 3-4 years under the management of Erik Ten Hag and the team that are building with players around him, it's quite phenomenal, really. So I do certainly think that Osimhen, as all the other gentlemen on this podcast have said, he's the standout candidate. And if Man United can get that over the line, it's almost a case of, do we even need another striker? I know it would be unbelievable, but his injury record is fairly decent, especially compared to Harry Kane. And this is certainly a player that I think he will relish putting that Manchester United jersey on. So yeah, as I said, unfortunately, I do have to agree with everyone on the panel, but Victor Osimhen is the one that I'd pick, and I'd pick in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I think the only thing to add to the only weakness that I see, or not weakness, concern, is that, and it's only for a short period of time, but it does matter, is he's Nigerian, so the AFCON. It does have that little bit of an impact. So we're saying that we might not need somebody else. I know we've got Rashford and we've got other players who potentially can perform and perhaps step up under somebody else taking the limelight for a little bit. I just think that
I've got an idea for that.
Yes, mate.
My personal ideal scenario is we get Victor Osimhen and we get Ferguson.
I knew you'd say that, and I agree completely.
But it's boring if we agree. It's boring if we agree. But obviously, we're all keen watchers of the game, and Ferguson again, up and coming. We haven't had an Irish player at the club, I think, since John O'Shea left. I think it was John O'Shea possibly the last Irish player we had. And also, we've had like a long history of Irish players, but unfortunately, the last 10 years, there's been no Irish player worth their salt to come and play for the club, apart from Jack Grealish, but he obviously decided to play for England. And I don't rate Declan Rice. I think he's overrated. I don't rate him at all. But for me, it would have to be Ferguson and Osimhen. For me, that's the dream ticket. If I get Ferguson for 30-35 mil, not going to play every game. But, you play your Carabao Cup, play your 𝒖𝒄 Cup, and play some midweek fixtures. And again, you still said there, Phil, with the AFCON, you lose Osimhen for a month, and then you made a great point there. You said ourselves and PSG are in the running. Well, PSG, it's a topsy-turvy club. Change your manager every 18 years, 2 years. There's no real stability. I think Ligue 1 in France, nothing more than the pub league. Messi went there to retire. Zlatan said himself, he scored 50 goals one season in all competitions for PSG. Nobody cared. Messi got 20 and gets nominated for Ballon d'Or. So I think if you're an up-and-coming player, that you're not playing for money. You're playing to win things. You come to a club like United with Ten Hag with a 4 to 5 year project. Surely logic would dictate, if money is similar, you choose a sporting project that's going to bring you on as a player and develop as a player. I think PSG, for someone like Osimhen, I think he wastes his talent there.
Yeah, I agree, Jay. But also, if we're looking at the takeover, like, if Qatar might buy us as well, it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I think personally, if I was Osimhen, I would go where I can be successful and where I would be loved, to be honest. PSG hasn't been successful. They haven't won anything. I mean, of course, they've been successful in the local competition, the local league, which some people call Farmers League. I'm not going to go there. But they haven't been successful in winning the Champions League. So welcome to Manchester United, according to everyone else. So on a hot meter, 1 to 5, I guess we all score number 5 here, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, can you note it down? 5 for Osimhen. Let me see what the poll is saying. Like, let me share, because earlier today I posted a poll on Twitter. And let me see what the fan base are saying. I mean, if they all agree what we are saying, then we are on par. So let me bring into the stream. Yay! If we look at the overall 185 votes, and there's still 22 hours to go. But it's been 2,000 views, and many people have voted in a certain sense. They all agree that 62.2% so far says Osimhen is the perfect striker that fits Ten Hag's system. As what we said, Vlahovic came only on 4.3, and Harry Kane second on 23.2, and Benjamin Sesko on 10.3. Of course, we have a lot of split opinions, what people are saying. Like, there's always comments to say, I personally go for Benjamin Sesko with Osimhen. There's a mixed bag, but at the end of the day, they all agree with Osimhen. And I think that's remarkable. That means that, this doesn't really speak, the poll doesn't speak for the entire fan base, but, at least it shows some consensus of what is the perfect striker for Erik ten Hag's mold. We only need one perfect combined striker, competitive striker, because that's what we're missing. We've been crying out, we've been missing a perfect good striker ever since Ibrahimovic left. He was according to my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, he was a fantastic striker until he injured his knees. But I want to
throw
play
this in very quickly.
Yeah,
I think if we'd have had Cavani this season, if he'd have just waited, I think would have been all right. Moving on.
But Cavani was injured prone.
I don't think I could take a season of relying on Cavani or Martial to lead the line for Man United. I think that would probably be the final nail in the coffin for me.
No, but I mean, this season we're in that right now, we would have had him still as an option.
Yeah, certainly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to move on.
Cavani over a Weghorst is a no-brainer. Even if he's
yeah. Or any of those strikers mentioned here in the poll over Weghorst. I think Weghorst, I don't know. Ten Hag has been stubborn with him, but I haven't seen any return on investment. If you're a striker, you should finish your dinner. You got to be calling a spade a spade. It's been good for Loney. Ramos been banging in this season, yeah. Not sure how much he'd cost. How much is Ramos costing? I don't know.
I think it's going to be a situation certainly where it's going to be in the high price tag. So I do certainly think he's not going to be on the side of caution in terms of price. He's going to be someone who everyone sees, especially after the World Cup and everything like that. He certainly put his name amongst the cat amongst the pigeons, shall we say? So he's going to be a striker that's more so in terms of the category of Kane and Osimhen in terms of the price. He's got massive potential, but I think it is a little bit unfair when we're talking about him because it's almost that air of uncertainty, isn't it? I do feel like as football fans, we just genuinely know more about all the other potential targets. So it's certainly a situation where I think he's going to be a player that's going to be linked. He's certainly an option from what I've heard that is an admirer from Ten Hag's camp. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I think it all just leads back again to if we get Victor Osimhen, I think we'll be a very, very happy fan base.
There's a lot of comments coming in. United shouldn't go in for the Kane road. Yeah, I totally agree. The Premier League proven. People are supporting your rant. I absolutely agree. There are a lot of people agreeing, basically. Jay, ha ha ha. Scott Manderson saying, cool, cool, cool. But guys, I just also want to do a short clip, because a few weeks ago we had Niall James and Jody from Mufc Realist TV. They had a conversation with 90 minutes. We had a conversation with Graham Bailey. No other than that. So I'm just going to play the script what Graham Bailey's reckon, because he's obviously speaking to the club regarding the striker targets and stuff like that. So let me just play this clip.
I think for right now till the end of the season he does, but I think you've got to look in the summer where we're at. I mean, there's so many variables right now at Manchester United. Do we have new owners? Are the Glazers still going to be there? There's so many variables on that it basically changes everything come end of March, when the sale, according to the Rainbow, finally does happen. It changes everything to what number 9 could come in, which is where I think would love to get Graham's thoughts on who he thinks will come in.
I mean, we've been linked to Kane many times, as you know, Graham. And is it still a possibility? Are we still interested in Kane, or is he looking like he will stay at Tottenham?
I'm just going to pause here right now, because today most of the media outlets and fan channels were reporting that Kane is the number 1 target from Erik Ten Hag. But listen to what Graham has to say.
He's obviously a player that does interest United. It's obviously the chances of Daniel Levy selling to Manchester United are very, very low. He doesn't want to sell Harry Kane to a rival, particularly Manchester United. There's been a lot of to and fro between those two clubs over the years. So, and obviously these big deals will be under a new stewardship at United. We expect new owners to be in before July 1st, even June when they start the planning. So we're expecting that, but and money will be available to Erik Ten Hag. But is Harry Kane the one? I'm not 100% convinced. I do know obviously there's a lot of players that like. They've looked at Osimhen. I think Dusan Vlahovic is one to watch. I think he'll be available for a lot less than what Harry Kane would be. I think he's younger. He's obviously, without Juventus being Champions League, I think he's open to a move to England. So he's one to keep an eye on. Same with Benjamin Sesko. We know he's due to arrive at Leipzig, but United scouts love this guy. They like him a lot. Leipzig could double their money without him coming in. And then does that open up the avenue to other parts of the squad? I still think if I had the money there, I still think Frankie de Jong will be Ten Hag's main number 1 target if he's available. I think he probably will be. So if they're going to spend that, and it's not that they couldn't spend 100 million in every area, but obviously financial fair play does prevent you from doing that. So I would think maybe De Jong and another might be the case. Kane, yeah, he ticks our boxes, but he's 29, turns 30 this summer, doesn't he?
Yeah, in June or July.
Long term, I'm not convinced. I think Harry Kane might move, but Bayern Munich like him a lot. Does he go there for 2 or 3 years, guaranteed silverware, and then come back? A move to United for Kane, does that guarantee silverware? It looks like it might get him silverware, but I don't think it guarantees it. And so I think you just have to consider that option as well. So no, but I do think a new number 9 is vital for the way they play. I'm not sure. One in Weghorst mold is the way to go, but I don't think someone like a Kane or Vlahovic, even the Sesko, is like that really. Or Weghorst, he's good at what he does, but he's very limited. And unless you're firing cross in the box, as we saw when you played inverted wingers, that isn't always the case. But he distracted the defenders yesterday at Ellen Road. He did what he had to do. But no, I don't think a carbon copy of that will be what we see in the summer. But I do expect a new number 9 to be through the door for Erik Ten Hag.
There we have it. So that's pretty much echoing what we are all saying, and we spoke to him, it was about 2 weeks ago, to be honest. And this is kind of fresh. And it's a valid point what he's saying, that Harry Kane, if he wants to win silverware, which probably wants, that's Harry Kane's dream, we know that the Bayern Munich is interesting in new striker. He would be a perfect, and Daniel Levy don't want to sell to a rival club, so that makes sense, guys. Yeah, is everyone on mute?
Yeah, completely agree. Absolutely, I think we're all on mute. We're all nodding and saying, "Yeah, we agree."
Exactly.
Yeah, we
I think you
don't
can tell
want
by my facial expressions, we're all in agreement there. And I think it does actually remind me a little bit of moments ago where Jay referred to Daniel Levy as a slippery eel. When he was starting that sentence, I was a little bit worried about what he was going to say, but I think slippery eel is quite acceptable in terms of what you could potentially describe Daniel Levy as when it comes to these transfers.
Trust
but yeah,
me,
that's always going to be a
Anil,
massive stumbling
I've said 10 times worse on Irish radio and got away with it. 10 times worse.
Which I was half expected, to be honest. But yeah, you know, jokes aside, I think there's so many stumbling blocks and so many questions where I almost feel if you put the money down for Osimhen, realistically, there's not going to be anything about the age or any potential parties on Napoli side preventing if obviously you put the money down. And I hate to keep comparing it back to Osimhen, but realistically, this is the target that Man United fans want. So why shouldn't we use this as a yardstick, if you like? So, yeah, I think it's certainly a situation. And the Bayern Munich stuff is quite interesting as well. It is actually something that I've heard over the last week or so. And one thing to remember is Thomas Tuchel is now at Bayern Munich. And he's obviously got the Premier League experience. He knows firsthand how good Harry Kane is. So if that situation does come about, don't be surprised if that Premier League link comes about and Harry Kane does move to Germany. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Let's close this striker position. Everyone agrees, including the fan base, including yourself, Jay, Phil, me, and including Graham Bailey as well, which everyone knows is a well-known transfer journalist as well. Guys, if you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe. You know, you have a lot of buttons there. Tell your friends about the channel. We are here as a global fan community. We're going places. We are going with the winds of change with Erik Ten Hag and the club. And we like to keep it real. You know, everyone can come on, have a say. But for now, I give you back the day. That was a rhyme. Everyone can have a say, go back and have it a day. But please, thank you for all your support, gentlemen. This is Mick Ruby. You can find me there. This is Phil, Anil, Jay. Have a lovely evening, guys. Like and subscribe. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.